So even after checking out milestones, you're not exactly sure if your toddler is developing correctly. He seems to be doing some stuff differently to the other children in the park, but maybe it's part of his personality, or maybe he's just a late bloomer. Today we're going to be going over 10 red flags for child development between the ages of 1 to 3 that you should not ignore. Hey, welcome back. I'm Holly, a pediatric occupational therapist and mum to 2 adorable toddlers. My channel is about all things child development for 1 to 3-year-olds. Because when it comes to toddler development, what you do, mama, matters. So before we dive into those red flags for toddler development, I want to tell you why you are your child's best advocate when it comes to developmental delay. Firstly, our children aren't being checked properly. Studies have shown that only 1 in 5 children have been asked screening questions about their development in the last year. Healthcare providers, when they do ask these screening questions, rely heavily on whether you, mama, are concerned about your child's development. A delay in early childhood development doesn't have to mean a developmental delay for later on in life or a learning disability. Therapy has the ability to dramatically affect your child's development when started early. The sooner, the better. We are being hugely underserved. It's estimated that in the United States, 15% of children have at least one developmental delay, but only 1/5 of those children are receiving therapy services before the age of 3. Let's dive into those 10 red flags for toddler development. First off, delayed milestones. Whether it be not walking by 18 months or not speaking in short phrases by age 2, a delayed milestone is a red flag. Muscles and posture. A red flag would be if you notice that your child has very tight muscles and difficulty opening up their joints, or on the other hand, if they have seemingly very loose or floppy muscles and they seem very uncomfortable holding up upright positions. Drooling or difficulty eating. If your child is constantly drooling beyond the time that they're teething and you notice that they have difficulty chewing or swallowing food, that could be a red flag for toddler development. If the 2 sides of your toddler's body seem different, that could be a red flag. What I mean by that is that one side is favored heavily in movement and the other side is almost ignored, or that physically they look different. There could be maybe a muscle tightness on one side, maybe the range of movement that they use on one side of their body isn't the same as what they use on the second side. Communication. This is your eye contact, pointing, shared laughter and interest. Interest in the world around them. Babies and toddlers are natural explorers. Some of them are real adventurers. A red flag would be noticing that your toddler has a lack of interest in the world around them, in things like toys and other children, and even their interactions with you. Difficulty using their hands or manipulating small objects like blocks or a spoon, if they seem not to be able to really grasp onto things. Not understanding simple instructions. Even by age 1, you should expect to see your toddler understanding basic instructions and commands like sit, bring, no. Extreme anger and lack of range of emotions. Toddlers are emotional creatures. It's tough to manage, but it's really good for their development in the long run. You should be noticing that your toddler has a range of emotional expression: sad, happy, disappointed, excited. If you're not noticing that range, or if you're noticing that the predominant emotion is anger and it's at an extreme level, that could be a red flag. Regression. Maybe you've noticed that your toddler used to be able to do a certain skill, like walking or talking, and suddenly they aren't able to do that anymore. Do any of these ring a bell for you? I strongly suggest that you seek the advice of your pediatrician or ask for a referral to a relevant therapist, like an OT, speech therapist, or physiotherapist. But maybe these don't exactly fit with your toddler. Something in your gut tells you that their development isn't quite right, but it seems like a gray area. In this next video, we are going to be going over 10 lesser known sensory development issues that we see in toddlers.